Welcome to Go Get Great, the podcast for aspiring entrepreneurs and ambitious small business owners. I'm your host, Brittany, owner of Brittany Miller Socials and mother of 3. Go Get Great is all about helping you make life and business work together. You'll learn about the fumbles that helped get me and my guests to where we are today so you don't have to make them. So come join the journey with Go Get Great.
Let's talk AI. If you guys missed the memo, a couple weeks ago, ChatGPT and Open AI launched a new AI tool for you to use. And I have to say, at first I was a little bit skeptical, but I'm actually finding it super useful. So of course I had to record a podcast episode about it. Now, that being said, if you are new to the world of AI, specifically ChatGPT, I want you to pause this episode and I want you to check the links in the description below and go back and listen to the episodes that I've referenced there, which is going to give you an overview of what ChatGPT is and why it's a great tool for small business owners. But if you've already listened to that, or maybe you've used some of these tools yourself, then keep on listening because this is going to be a really great episode. So what we're going to talk about specifically today is called Atlas. That's the new browser that ChatGPT launched. So it is an actual web browser, which honestly kind of blew my mind. And when they're like, this is a new thing, I'm like, how is this going to function? But it works really well. And I'm got to say that I'm kind of addicted to it. So much like your traditional web browser, Atlas operates in a similar capacity with a built-in ChatGPT function. So really what that means is that you're going to be able to search in the search bar for typical websites, and then that might be all that you use it for. And now if it is, you'll probably keep using a traditional web browser. But the feature that I really like is the button in the top right corner that says Ask ChatGPT. So the integration with Atlas is basically that it is now connected to the website, to the web. It is a web browser. So you can search for whatever you're doing, and then you have ChatGPT right there. Like there's AI looking over your shoulder at your computer. And I, like I said, was a little bit skeptical about it, but I'm finding it super helpful because really what this means is that when you are on the web and you have a question, you can ask it a question and it's right there. It's one click away. You're not flipping tabs, which for me is a big one because I have 18 million tabs open at any given point in time. And I'm also finding that because it is integrated and able to see what you're looking at, it's making the use of AI so much faster and easier for me. So before there were a lot of things where I'm like, oh, I could ask ChatGPT to do this, but I'm not going to because in order for me to get the response that I'm looking for, it would take me longer to explain to it what it is that I need and the context than it is to actually have me figure it out myself. So now I can just be like, using what you see on the screen, can you do XYZ for me? And it's making things so much easier. I really, really like it. And I think that it's making the quality of its outputs so much better because it is connected to the internet since it is a web browser. So it feels like it has bang overnight, more than tripled its usefulness, which is crazy because I used ChatGPT a lot before and I'm using it even more now. So a couple examples of things that I've used it for recently. I used it not even that long ago today, and I was working on updating a blog post of mine. It's a holiday gift guide, so I'll link it in the notes as well if you want to go and check it out. And I wanted to add a couple recommendations of things that have been really relevant for me in the last year that weren't in the blog post when I created it last year. I wanted a quick description of a product to put in it, but I didn't really have enough time to sit down and write it out myself, / I was just being lazy. So I brought up the website, clicked the Ask ChatGPT button, and I was like, can you write a 2 to 3 sentence description of this product for a gift guide that I'm writing, talking about why it would be a great gift for entrepreneurs. And in 4 seconds flat, it gave me what I was looking for and perfect. So I copied and pasted it into the blog post, add my links, and I was done. It was so much faster because I was not in a let's write blog post content mindset. I was very much in an admin because I was basically just going through and updating links and changing photos. So just having it do that for me saved me so much time because I was not in the brain space for that task at that moment. And I found it super useful. I've also done some other things with it. If you were on my email list, you saw I sent an email about it, I think 2 weeks ago when they launched it, sharing that it was out there and that it's a new tool that can be used. And I shared a prompt that I was using with it. It was actually a prompt that I got from somebody else's email list that I'm on, the Kara Report. She's fabulous. Definitely check her out if you haven't. I've done her blogging for bingeable brands course. That was where I first learned how to do blogging SEO. So we were going back and adding all those practices to the blog post that I was just talking about. Yeah, so she sent an email out about it. That's how I actually learned about it. And she's like, oh, this is the prompt I tried today. Try it out. So I downloaded Atlas right away, and I did. And the prompt was like, looking at my website, would you hire me, or something in and along those lines. And then it gives you some great feedback on the homepage of your website and whether it's really explaining who you are, what you do, if it's optimized for conversions, all of those wonderful things. So I got some fabulous feedback from ChatGPT for that. And that was kind of like what introduced Atlas to me. That was what I was playing with it. And since then, I've done a lot of other things with it. I've pulled up my podcasting analytics in my podcasting dashboard, and I was like, okay, looking at this information, can you analyze these analytics and draw some insights that I can use for my business? And it'll be like, oh, these episodes did really well. Here's a couple other ideas that you could record episodes on, since your audience seems to like this so much. Or, oh, this episode didn't do as well. Maybe we try adjusting this strategy and recording another episode that's, similar but different kind of thing. So it took a look through all of that stuff, which is great because pulling insights is not always difficult to do, but not something that I really want to spend some time sitting down to do. So one of the other things that I want to do soon is open up my Instagram dashboard and have it read some of my Instagram insights, just to kind of see how it does, because that I still do manually, mostly because I haven't checked my Instagram insights since Atlas launched 2 weeks ago, because I usually check those monthly. But I did have it go through, and that was another prompt. I think I shared it on my email list. I can't remember. I was using it with. So I pulled up my Instagram profile. I was looking at, and the prompt was looking at my Instagram profile. What do you understand about my business? So I wanted it to look at it from like a customer's perspective to see what information was really super clear in my profile and like my highlights and like my feed. And then I wanted it to help me pinpoint some of the like gaps that were missing, things that were missing. And I had some really insightful feedback about that, mostly that I am not posting enough content about how you can work with me. So I'll be working on that in the future. So it was just nice to have like an outside perspective, because I personally think that I spend a lot of time talking about how you can work with me, but apparently not so much. So it had really some great feedback for that. And that's not something that I could ever ask ChatGPT before, because it doesn't usually read links, which is kind of frustrating. And like I've tried that before. So another prompt that I'll probably try again now that Atlas is here is, a while ago I asked it to look through my Instagram feed and suggest any content that I could repurpose. And it pulled like post recommendations for like profiles that were not mine. So it like searched the web or something. And it was like, oh yeah, you should repost these 5 posts. And only one of them was actually mine. So I was like, missed the mark on that one just a little bit. So that was something that I think I'll try again in Atlas, now that it seems smarter and I can actually like look at things online. So I'm excited to play around with some of the capabilities of that. But basically, it is just a fantastic tool to work alongside you now. So every time you're doing something, if you're writing an email, you can just ask ChatGPT and be like, oh, can you suggest 5 different subject lines for this email that help me explain this, or would encourage people to open the email, etc. So a lot of the prompts that you've been using, you can still use with it, but it's going to be a lot faster, because now every time you don't have to prime it and like teach it or like explain more so what you're doing, because it can see what's on your screen. So you don't have to tell it, oh, it's an email about a new AI tool that small business owners should create, because it can tell based on the content that it would be reading on the screen from the email itself. So like I said, so much faster, so much easier. And like I said, because it can see that and it has more context, I've been finding that the output is significantly better too. It's requiring less of my time to go through and edit it, which is like triple time saving. So I'm spending I'm spending less time inputting stuff. I'm spending less time editing the outputs. And it's helping me with a lot more projects now too, like I said, which is crazy because it helped me with a lot of stuff already anyway. But I'm really loving it for the like data analyzing now. So it's like your new AI BFF. And I really hope that if you haven't tried it out, that you're going to, because it is free to use and it integrates nicely with your ChatGPT account. So whether you're on the free account, you can still use Atlas. If you're on the paid account, you can still use Atlas. Doesn't matter. I actually just recently switched over to the paid account for ChatGPT, like within the last 30 days. I think I'm still on the free 1 month trial that it gives you. Um, excuse me. And I think I'm probably going to keep it because I do find that it's helpful. It has a better memory. And I have a lot of things that are going on in my business. You guys know that. So I really need it to have more space and capacity to remember like individual products, different services. Sometimes it helps me with some of my client work. I'm definitely going to try it. Like I said, I'm going to open my Instagram insights and have it do some reading and editing of the data and analytics there. And if it works really well, then I'll use it on my clients for client reports that I have to send out for like content. I use it in my content strategy, use it in my email marketing. I usually send my clients updates to let them know how things are going, what trends I'm seeing, and why I'm adjusting their strategy based on the trends, all those wonderful things. And I do that manually, and it's super time consuming. So I'm really hoping that this is going to be a great tool to help me spend less time doing that stuff so that I can either charge less because it takes me fewer hours to do the work for the clients, or I can just add additional deliverables to the client packages that I have. So definitely something that I foresee me using more of and moving away from, well, in my case, I have a MacBook, so moving away from Safari and more so into Atlas. Now, there are a couple other things that I wanted to mention about it. There's like 800 million ways that I want to try using it. And I'm not going to mention all of them because this would be a really, really long episode. But a couple of things that I haven't done yet. Atlas wanted to know if I wanted to integrate my Safari browser data into Atlas when I first started. And I said no, mostly because I didn't want to move all of its like payment processing and things like that over. And banking information. I'm still not 100% sure because it's new that I want to use it for some of those things. So, like, I've been testing it out and I'll use it in like my CRM and my email platform. I'm fine to have my like Instagram account and my Facebook account signed in, but I'm not prepared to do my banking in it yet. Although truthfully, I'm sure if I ask it to run some insights on my revenue and expenses, it would probably do a fantastic job of telling me that my business spends a lot of money. So there are different ways that you could use it on websites like that if you wanted to. I'm just not comfortable giving it quite that much access to myself right now because I don't truthfully know how ChatGPT and OpenAI are using the data. I didn't do a deep dive into that before I started testing it out because I kind of knew that I wouldn't need to for some of the things that I'm working on. So that's something that you can do or not do. That's totally up to you. Just know that going in, it will ask you those questions and then you have the option not to do that. So I'm still going to do my banking in Safari for now, and anything that's like personal and private. Not that there's a lot of that, but I'll do all of that in Safari for the time being until we've seen Atlas be out for a little while longer, and make sure that it is good and all of those wonderful things to keep our computers safe. The other thing that I wanted to mention with all of these new tools, I didn't necessarily want it reading through all of my emails. So I haven't actually signed into my email provider on it yet, because within that, there's a lot of information, like banking information that I sent to and from my accountant. So that's another website or another like not really website, but yeah, a website that I haven't really signed into on Atlas just for that reason. Now, there are ways that you can actually turn off Atlas's and AI's ability to read your emails. I saw an Instagram post about that the other day, and I actually went through and did it. So now that I've done that, I probably will sign into Gmail in Atlas because it shouldn't be able to read. I think it's called like API was what it was. So you can actually go into, if any of you guys are curious, I'll link the Instagram reel that I saw this information in. But you go into your Gmail settings and you turn it off, basically just saying like, please don't like look through my emails. So that just made me feel more comfortable too, because sometimes clients are sending me sensitive information when they're like making payments and stuff. So not only is it my information that's at risk, but it's my client's information. So I just really want to be careful about all of that stuff, because anytime there's new anything, there's always that, okay, well, how does this work kind of thing? And I never want to be one of the ones that tests it out and have it do something that it's not supposed to. So just for the time being, I'm trying to make sure that I'm being really safe with my own data and information, and also with my clients' data and information. But once we kind of get more confident with some of that stuff, I'll definitely be sending into like my CRM and asking it to pull insights on all of those things and help me with pieces like that. But it's even great too when you're working, and I think this will be great for people who maybe are newer to things like website design. So if you're trying to do something on your website, you can just be in Atlas and then use the Ask ChatGPT button and be like, okay, this is what I'm trying to do. How do I do this? And then have it be able to like see what you're working on and then help answer your question. I think that there's so many fabulous applications for things like that. Which is why I wanted to come on and talk about it, because truthfully, if I wasn't on Kara's email list, I wouldn't have known about it probably for a few more weeks. So I'm glad that I kind of got to test it out right around its launch time. And I wanted to be able to kind of share that information with you guys as well, because like I said, I do think that it is a fantastic tool that is saving me an abundance of hours right now, which is great because I'm not working an abundance of hours right now while we work on our home renovation and all those wonderful things. So yeah, so that is my very quick summary of Atlas. If you do end up trying it out, definitely send me a message and let me know what you think. And if you have any great prompts that you've used with it, send them my way too, because I would love to try them. And if you are not yet on my email list, I think that it would be a fantastic idea for you to join, because now that Atlas is a thing, a lot of the weekly emails that I send out, they're called content quickies. We share business growth ideas, but mostly we share content creation tips. And some of the ones that I've been sharing over the last few weeks, like I mentioned a couple of them already, will likely utilize Atlas because it's just such a great way to create content quickly and help grow your business with ease and alignment. So you'll want to stick around and make sure that you get access to all of those as well. Really quick before I wrap up today's episode about Atlas and ChatGPT tools, like I mentioned earlier, if you are newer to ChatGPT or you've used it before, maybe you haven't had great results, I wanted to very quickly mention that I do have a ChatGPT course talking about how to get it set up, how to use it, and how to use it specifically for your small business. So it's a fantastic little mini course to help you learn what areas of business ChatGPT can help you with and give you some really fantastic prompts to help you train ChatGPT to sound like you and help you minimize the amount of editing you're doing with the outputs that it gives you. So that's a great starting point. I'm probably going to add some more modules in the future, potentially even this podcast episode talking about Atlas, because it is associated with ChatGPT. And like I mentioned multiple times throughout the episode today, it's just such a fantastic tool that is saving me so much time. And I really want to share it with entrepreneurs so that they know how they can use it to save time and grow their business with ease and alignment. So again, thank you so much for listening to this week's episode. I'll link the course in the show notes for you so that you can check it out if you're interested. And we will see you next week on the Go Get Great podcast.
Thank you so much for tuning in to Go Get Great. I hope you found some useful tips and tricks that can help you make life and business work together. If what I said resonates with you, please share it on social media, and don't forget to tag at Brittany Miller Socials so that I can celebrate you for taking those first steps towards achieving greatness. remember, success doesn't happen overnight. It takes dedication, hard work, and a lot of spirit. So don't be afraid to dream big and go after what you want. Keep striving for greatness. You get closer with every step forward, no matter how small they may seem. Until next time, go get great.